Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday night. Welcome back to this episode of Saturday Bach Marathon Madness. I am your host, Johnson McCain, and let's get into this episode today. We're going to discuss Season 9, Episode 34, Fabtastic Friday. So, this episode starts out, he gets breakfast like usual, then gets on the Hartman bus. He gets to Hartman. Today is early childhood early childhood education with Miss Higgins. Um, so they basically chit chat. They talk about their plans for the weekend, and then they talk about how the previous week went. The past week went with the preschool program. They talk about what they did good, what looked good, what looked not too good, and what how to improve it, and then they talked about some future plans. And then after that, we had a quick activity. And then we had in the middle our 15-minute break, which we don't see because there's no craziness, there's no drama, which is good, but there's nothing interesting. And then we get back to class. We have a lesson, and then we have an assignment activity type thing, and then we have a quick FCC meeting discussing our fundraiser, how it went, because I think this is like March or late February after the fundraiser, and what they plan to do with the money. And after that, we start to prepare for our lessons for the next week, and then that's it. So he gets on the bus, he gets back to school. We have stay hall, which we don't see because there's nothing interesting. And then we have lunch. He chit chats with the Brotherhood. They talk about their weekend plans. They just chit chat. And then today is Pizza Friday with ice cream and chips and the whole 9 yards. So they enjoy lunch. And then after lunch, he goes to science with Mr. Mendock and Mr. Mirror, the student teacher. They have a bell work, and then they have a lesson, and then they have like a quiz. So a weekly quiz, and he does decent on it. And then then he goes to Algebra 2 with Mr. Stevens. Today they have a quick bell work, and um, then today they have a test. So he goes down to Miss Oswald's room. He takes the test with her. Um, he does decent on it. He returns it to the Mr. Stevens, so it can be reviewed and graded. And then the bell rings. Then he goes back to resource with Miss Isla. He just works on assignments for other classes, and then he goes to U.S. history with Mr. Wildmanledge. He has a little rant, and then he has a lesson, and I think they have like a test or something, or like a quiz or something. And then near the end, he does his little dance, his ritual for Friday. Mr. Wimwich don't like it. Some Barhead members and friends are going maybe join in a little bit and go Hunter, go. Then the bell rings and he heads home, and now it's a wonderful week. He is. Now it's time for the weekend, and he's gonna have a wonderful weekend. And that is it for this episode of Saturday Black Marathon Madness. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week for another week of Marathon Madness. And have a good weekend. God bless and protect each and every one of you, and I'll see you next week. See you next time. Bye for now. Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday evening. Welcome back to a new week of Sandra and Bot Marathon Madness. I am your host, Johnson McGain, and happy Monday. So let's get started today. We're going to discuss Season 9, Episode 20, Perfect Pyramid. So, it starts out, he is at home, he, in his room, he does his whiteboard, he does his pyramid, and all the members, like, have a good week. So, of course, like, he's on top, and his assistant Jared's next to him. Then we got all this. He starts on the bottom. goes onto the top. Lots of the OG members at this point, um, like John and Adam and um, I think Nick is still there. I think at this point, but some of the old G members are really good this week, and lots of other members are good. So that's good. So everyone has a perfect pyramid um, this week. So, and all the members there's not much drama going on lately in this portion of the season. 9 of 11th grade. Um, Everyone's pretty good. So, at this point, which is good. So, he gets on the bus, he gets to school, he gets breakfast, then he gets on the Hartman bus. Um, and he gets to Hartman. Today is Monday, so it's just early childhood education with Miss Higgins again today. Um, so they prepare for. They chit chat about what they did on the weekend. They chit chat a little bit about different things, and then they have like an activity, and then they have a lesson real quick. And then they had their 15-minute break, Hunter, which we don't see, but I think I finished my breakfast that I didn't get to finish. And I have some snacks and stuff, so that's good. And then he goes back to the class. Um, so they finish a lesson, they do another assignment, and then after that, they start working on the weekly calendar and lesson plans for the preschool week upcoming. And they do their lesson plans, and then eventually they go to the room and get the materials and things ready for the lessons for the week, and they get examples and stuff. So they get anything prepared for preschool weeks, Tuesday, which is remember Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So they're prepared for that, and then after that, um, he gets back on the bus. He gets to the school. He has study hall, which we don't see, and then he goes to lunch. Today is Chinese chicken day for Monday, which he loves. But he sees the Brotherhood. He chit chats with Brotherhood. They talk about what they did the weekend. They chit chat about other things, and then Hunter goes over. Hunter tells them about the pyramid, and they're happy about that. That everyone's in pretty good spots. That's good. And then he goes over and eats his lunch and enjoys it. And then after that, he goes to science with Mr. Mendock and Mr. Miller. They have bell work, and then they have a lesson, and then they have their daily activity. And then he goes to Algebra 2 with Mr. Stevens. They have today is a bell work lesson, and then have time to work on an assignment, which he just relax until the end of the period. Since he doesn't do the assignment until resource. Then he goes to resource. He does the Algebra 2 assignment with Miss Oswald. They get it done and turn it in. And then U.S. history, Mr. Wild Language is wildness in the beginning, and then they have a lesson, activity, and maybe they have an assignment. And then the bell rings, he heads out. He had a pretty good Marvelous Monday with a perfect pyramid. And that is it. So, thank you all for watching this episode of Sajon Bot Marathon Madness. I'll see you Tuesday evening for another episode of Sajon Bot Marathon Madness. God bless and protect each and every one of you. Slay all day. Live your best one awesome life. And each and every day, live life to the fullest each and every day. And I'll talk to you soon. But bye for now.